Hey, I'm back. Today I'm going to go over everything that I made in 2024. Here's the stack of everything that I made, including what I'm wearing. So I'm just gonna get ready to talk about them in chronological order that I made them. I have everything listed here on my knitting Notion board. Everything to talk about, so I guess let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, by the way, my name is Anna. Okay, now we can start. So the first thing that I made in 2024 is this sweater that I'm wearing. This is technically, it started out as the Fortune sweater by Petite Knit. And the Fortune sweater has a lace detailing in it that's beautiful. And I initially wanted to knit that. And then when I started it, I got kind of lazy and I just felt like knitting a stockinette project. I don't think I had a stockinette project at the time, so I was kind of craving stockinette. So I left the lace detail out, which I almost wish that I hadn't, because I think this would be such a beautiful sweater with the lace in it. Alas, I took it out. So technically I started this sweater as the Fortune sweater. And the funny thing about this is that I started this back in August of 2022. So this sweater was started 2 years before it was even finished. But technically I finished it in 2024. So I'm counting it in my 2024 makes. The majority of it was done before 2024. I ended up straying from the pattern kind of entirely. Really the only thing I stayed with the Fortune sweater was the size. I'm pretty sure I knit a size medium. And then I kind of just ran wild with the rest of it. I did nothing besides the stitch counts, the same as the Fortune sweater. So I left like a mock neck, which the Fortune sweater is a folded neckband. And then I didn't do any decreases on the sleeve. So they're like a bell sleeve, if you can see. And then I continued with a split hem. So it looks basically nothing like the Fortune sweater. However, credit the Fortune sweater for the stitch counts. So I used Knitting for Olive merino and mohair in the color caramel, which I love. I love this color. I think it works really well for me, probably many other people as well. So if you like Knitting for Olive and you want like a nice caramel camel color, I think this is a really good yarn. And obviously it's got a great drape. I'll insert some more photos of what the actual body looks like and how it wears. This is definitely one of my favorite sweaters, if not my favorite sweater I've ever made. There is only one issue with that, and it's the mock neck. It got very loose, so I had to add a bunch of elastics. I have like 5 elastics holding up the neckband, which kind of looks crazy on the inside, but you can't tell on the outside. Happy with it. I debated maybe changing the neckline and like making it a folded neckline, but I just haven't. So I think this is like the perfect sweater for me. The silhouette is beautiful. And I think the fact that I spent technically like 2 years at least working on this sweater, it really gave me the time to know where I wanted to go with it, because when I was making it, I kind of got to the sleeves and I didn't know what to do. So it's also fingering yarn on 4mm needles, so that's a killer as well. One of the reasons why I stopped working on it, plain stockinette fingering weight sweater. Not fun, especially once you get to the body. So I took a long break from it, and that helped me decide which way I wanted to take it. So initially I was gonna do the balloon sleeves, but I don't really like balloon sleeves as much as a bell sleeve. So I think going with the bell sleeve was the perfect thing for me personally. I just love the look of kind of dramatic sleeves, and because it's just like a plain color, having more of a dramatic sleeve silhouette, it's not too dramatic, but you know, I really like it. And the split hem as well, I just like that as well, and I didn't know what I was gonna do initially, so yeah, sometimes you gotta let it hibernate for a while to be able to get to the perfect sweater. So this is my like over 2 years in progress sweater, but I'm so happy to have the finished object now. It's a really great color for fall especially, but honestly it's just really pretty throughout the winter and really elegant in my opinion. So I think this would have been really cool to have as with the lace detail, so maybe in the future I would like remake the exact sweater, exact size and same shape that I did, but add the lace. I think that would be really, really pretty. But yeah, that's my first finished object. Finish it August 15th, and no, I started it August 15th, 2022, and I finished it January 29th, 2024, but really I went back and added length in the sleeves and in the body in the summertime, so really it took me about 2 years to finish. So originally I had added like an inch of sleeve length, but I kind of like my sleeves at like this kit off here, so I think I added another inch to it and it ended up being the perfect length. Same thing with the body, it was just a smidgen too short, so I think I added length to the front and the back of the split hem. So yeah, I don't feel like knitting another fingering weight sweater again soon. I've knit my share of fingering weight sweaters, and I think that was more when I was like more towards a beginner knitter, and I was not, for whatever reason, I was not as afraid of a fingering weight sweater as I am now. Like now, starting a fingering weight sweater sounds like a terrifying task. Like I don't want to do another fingering weight sweater, so I will wait, maybe in the future. For now, I'm thinking more like just like a little bit chunkier knits, I think, for this year. Anywho, so that's the first finished object of the year. My second finished object, I didn't do much knitting at the beginning of 2024. I think I just lost my knitting bug altogether. So I ended up, well, honestly what happened is I was rereading all the Twilight books, and that consumed me. And it was really fun. So I just had fun reading at the beginning of the year. But I did do another little project. Let me pull it up. The Sunday socks by Petite Knit, and I did these in this electric blue. This is the Sun Niskan Perfect in whatever the electric blue color is called. Essentially, this is what I knit all of January of 2022, I'm pretty sure. I just did some small work on these and this sweater, which was basically done. I don't really like this pattern by Petite Knit, really. I like DK weight socks a lot, I found out, more than fingering weight socks, to be honest. I find them, fingering weight socks, I mean, I like the finished object, but I hate knitting them. Henceforth, just kidding. I don't like this pattern. There's a few things about the pattern that I didn't like at all. So the thing is the heel. It's just a plain stockinette heel. There's no slip stitch to kind of hold it in place. And the second thing that I hated about it is the toe, which I followed the instructions for the toe and then I took it out and redid it. So the way that the toe is set up in Petite Knit's pattern is really weird, where you kind of like, when you finish a hat and you have like 8 stitches left, you like loop the yarn around and pull it so it's got like a point. She had that for the toes too, instead of like a Kitchener stitch toe. So I undid that and just did like standard decreases with a Kitchener stitch toe. So that's more like standard sock, I feel like. I do kind of want to unravel these because I don't know what happened. These are completely different socks. They look the same from afar, but when you wear them, the sizes are way different. Here you can see, I think, one is longer than the other, and I think the circumference of them is also different around the actual foot part of it. So I kind of want to unravel these entirely and re-knit them maybe I would keep this part, but just start at the heel, do a slip stitch heel, and then fix whatever happened in this area, the foot area of the sock. I'm kind of thinking about doing that, but you know, when would I get to that? I'm not sure. Every single sock that I've knit, like, they're never the same. Something's wrong with every single pair of socks that I've knit, so I don't know, maybe I'll be able to fix that in the future. I don't know, but I guess I'm just not really good at knitting socks. I don't have the drive to do it, although I really like having knitted socks. These are really comfy. I don't know, but these have held up pretty well, I guess. The Suniscone Perfect Yarn is pretty good. You just need 2 skeins of it, one for each sock. And yeah, you can see the wear on the bottom of it. There's some wear, but overall it's nice. It has a nylon content in it, I'm pretty sure. So these are really nice in the winter. They keep you warm, and it's super quick to knit up. I would just note that if you do want to knit the Sunday socks, just note that the heel and the toe are maybe not the best. There might be a better pattern out there for DK weight socks, so that's what I would do. So that's my second finished object of the year. My third finished object, I knit this sweater called the Versailles sweater, and I bought Drops Air and Drops Mohair for it in yellow. I don't have this sweater anymore. It was like a ochre kind of mustard yellow color. So what happened is I knit the whole sweater, and it was cute and everything. I can put some pictures of what it looked like initially. And then when I wore the mustard yellow color, I found that this was the worst possible color I could have ever chosen to wear for like my skin tone. It made me look like I had an infectious disease of sorts. My skin just looked I just looked physically ill. So I was like, okay, maybe the yarn was, I mean, it wasn't cheap, it was not that expensive. So I was like, well, let me experiment with dyeing this. So I ended up dyeing it, and I'll put some extra pictures of the process because I was posting it on my Instagram stories and everything. And I chose black because I've been wanting a black sweater, and the black, like, I dyed it and everything, and the black just didn't, it was kind of like a weird shade of like greenish black. It wasn't black, so I was overall really disappointed. And because I put the sweater in like scalding hot water, it ended up, and I dyed it multiple times, ended up like felting a little bit. So the whole fit was, and it wasn't ruined, and the yarn wasn't completely ruined, but it was something that I didn't want. The finished result just wasn't black enough. Maybe had I chosen a different color, but I'm not so upset with it. It was a pretty quick knit sweater. I don't remember how long it took me. If I can find the details of how long it took me to knit that, I will post it up here. But the sweater overall was cute. It was actually, I thought the sweater was really cute when I saw it on the girl that designed it, and then I ended up buying the pattern and starting to knit it, but then I found out it was bottom up, and I was like, yeah, no, there's no chance. So I ended up hacking the pattern and knitting it top down, and that worked out fine, but it just, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would knit that sweater again. I would just hack it myself and come up with the pattern myself, because I just wouldn't want to follow the top down or the bottom up version. I really like the silhouette, but it didn't end up working out for me. So once I dyed it and once it felted a little bit, I was posting on my Instagram stories, and I was like, who wants this? To come and get it. And I had a few, like my cousin and one of my friends, maybe another friend, and one of my friends, she messaged me first, and I was like, yeah, you can have it. She does my hair too, so I was like, you know what, you do me right, so let me give you this. So I ended up giving that sweater to her, and it looks way better on her. It's a really boxy fit, but yeah, she looks super cute with it. So I'm glad that it went to someone that would, use it and like it. So as far as I know, she likes it, but yeah, it looks way better on her than me. So that one I ended up giving away. So technically I would have another sweater with me, but I just don't have that. So that was my third finished object. And somewhat of a fail, but at least it's only a fail in my eyes, and someone else got it and benefited from it, and one of my childhood friends, so I was happy to give it to her. The next sweater, well, I guess it's my next finished object that I made, was another gift. Technically this last one wasn't meant to be a gift, but ended up being a gift anyway. This one was a gift for one of my coworkers who was having her first baby, and I was like, okay, I've never knit a baby sweater before, let me make one for you. And she was like, of course. So I ended up knitting her the Storm Sweater Baby, which was super cute, and she had a little daughter. So I knit it from February 15th to March 8th. So it took me a few weeks. It was funny when I was knitting it because I was like, the yoke went by so fast. The back yoke. I was like, dang, I'm already done. Because it's like this big. The back yoke is. I knit the baby size because it was winter. She's gonna have her baby like the next month. So I made it for her to wear like right away. And I used Cascade 220 Superwash, which is like a superwash merino wool, which I think is perfect for a baby sweater. And I used the cream color. I'll put pictures obviously of how it turned out. It was so cute. I want to make another one, but fingering weight baby sweaters are a little bit less daunting, I would say, just because they're so minuscule. I did make a mistake. I didn't end up decreasing for the sleeve, so it has more of a balloon sleeve. Whatever, she's not gonna know. That yarn is washable, so I thought that would be good for a baby because you could technically spray like a stain remover if needed and actually throw it in the wash so it's superwash. Otherwise I wouldn't knit with superwash for myself, but for a baby that makes sense. So that was a cute little project and my first baby sweater that I ever knit. So I definitely want to make more baby sweaters because I think it's good if you have just a small amount of yarn. And you could easily use like a few scraps and make like a cute color block baby sweater or something. So that was fun. And that was my fourth finished object. Next finished object of 2024, which I also finished in March, was this Oslo hat by Petite Knit. I knit this in Knitting for Olive merino and mohair in the color unicorn purple, and I love this hat. I had this yarn for a while, like I said in previous videos. I had a Knitting for Olive obsession, and I think I'm almost out of all the Knitting for Olive yarn that I have, so I'm excited to like explore and use other yarns. But this was knit within like a week, so March 8th to March 16th. And yeah, easy peasy little knit. I just used one skein of everything. I made some sort of, I think I had to shorten this brim a little bit to just get one skein out of it, but it is a nice hat. I love the color. I love a little like lavender color moment, so perfect for a beanie. It would be a fun sweater too, but maybe not like a good color against my skin tone, but at least for a hat it's good. So yeah, that's that. I ended up making after this one a second Oslo hat, and I made that as a gift for my sister-in-law. I like making hats as gifts for people, and so I had another skein. I had like two skeins or two colors of Knitting for Olive. So I had this color and the color that I made for her. So I asked her what color she would want for a hat as a gift, and she picked that dusty rose color. So I made her that, and I'll add a photo of her wearing it. And she wears it all the time. She wears it and it matches the coat that she has like perfectly. So I'm really happy that she likes it and actually uses it. And so yeah, I just made these, like I made that one right after I finished that one. Or I made the pink one after I finished the purple one. So Knitting for Olive merino and mohair, but the color was dusty rose, and this was unicorn purple. So two Oslo hats this year that were made, and yeah, this is just a great easy pattern. A lot of stockinette, and then yeah, it's cute and fits everyone, so good pattern. That's that hat. After I finished the Oslo hats, I also then finished a second pair of Sunday socks, and this pair of Sunday socks, same yarn, Sendness Gun Perfect, but this taupey brown color, and I made all the changes that I wanted to make the first time around, I made in this pair. So instead of the stockinette heel flap, I ended up doing the slip stitch heel flap, which worked out fine with all of the same stitch counts. You just make it a slip stitch instead of stockinette. So I did that on both of the socks, and then I did the toe that I did before with the decreases and then the Kitchener stitch. I don't know how these got different as well. I think the only difference in them is one is longer than the other. I'm not quite sure how I did that. We were traveling when I knit these, so I don't know, maybe I was just not paying attention that much, but I get a lot of wear out of these. These fit perfectly. I think I knit the smallest size with these, and then I knit the medium size with these. And honestly, the smallest size is fine. I wear a size like 9 shoe, so to be able to get through, if you have my size foot or smaller, which is like also EU 40, 39 to 49, you should be able to get away with the smallest size and with one skein for each sock. So you just have to buy 2 skeins of this yarn, and you should definitely have enough to fit your foot, and the smallest size will fit your foot. I'm really happy with these socks. I don't find any reason to redo these, unlike the blue pair, but I get a lot of wear out of these. They keep me warm in the wintertime, and they're just cute to wear with like Birkenstocks. So yeah, I'm really happy with this pair. I definitely would want to make more DK weight socks, so I think I would just use the same pattern, but like at least the same stitch count, but then change the slip stitch heel and the Kitchener stitch toe. And yeah, you can see I get more wear out of these than the blue pair, but they're still holding up strong since I finished these in March. Of course, I didn't wear them all summer, but I've been wearing them a lot this winter so far. I'll stick with what I said before though and say that there's probably better DK weight socks than this pair, but it worked out for me. I knit those from March 23rd to April 3rd, so it just took me a really short amount of time. But I think after that I didn't really do much knitting for a while. The finished object I have is from May, so the next finished object I have is my very v-neck raglan sweater. Which I talked about in my podcast, my first knitting podcast, I'm pretty sure. So this is originally supposed to be a zipper jacket, and then I decided that I didn't want that, so I unraveled it, although I had finished both the front and the back yoke and I was already working on the body. I unraveled it all and used it for this sweater, and yeah, it's perfect. I knit the like XL size, so it's pretty huge, but that's what I was going for, so nothing wrong there. This is a Noro Omitama, that viral color, which is honestly so pretty. So, and it's also paired with knitting for olive mohair in the color wheat, so it kind of beiged it up a little bit because the yarn itself is a little bit like gray leaning, I feel like, and beige looks better on me than gray. So I think that's a good pair for this, to have a little bit of extra fluff. So it's a pretty fun sweater. I think I'll wear this more in the spring, maybe. Maybe the color is a little bit tricky for me to style, because what else do you wear it with besides like jeans, but I'm not sure. So this took me about 3 months to make. I knit it from May to August, so this was like a little summer sweater. And yeah, it was nice, easy pattern, really clear. So all of my next objects I've kind of talked about in my podcast episodes. So the next one I have is another beanie, because I made a lot of beanies this year. So I have this Vima beanie that is like, this is chunky yarn, so you can knit it in like a day. So this is a Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock North yarn in Cranberry Compote, which is the perfect cranberry color and really nice for in the fall and winter for a little pop of burgundy. That's one finished object. I have a lot of hats, but this is a good pattern, nothing wrong with it. It did have the pattern called for a, what do you call it? Not German twisted. What's it called? Italian bind on, which I didn't do, which I'll do for my next hat. So that's that. The next finished object is another beanie. This is the classic rib beanie by Pearl Soho, and I knit this over the course of the entire year because I had run out of yarn. So this is left over from my chestnut sweater. And then I just made the hat with it, which is really cool. Great pattern. And I ran out of yarn here, so you can see where like the white yarn changes, but yeah, it's nice. I like it. The next finished object I did was the Ribka pouch that I made for my friend with the rainbow yarn. So I'll just insert the photo here, and I talked more about it in my last podcast, but it was just a cute little gift, so I made that for her. And I did it in about a day. These are all just quick hits, to be honest. So the next one I made was another classic ribbed hat. This is in the alpaca yarn that I bought from the local alpaca farm, and it's so soft. I love this yarn. So I got this from Dottie, the alpaca, and I made a beanie out of it. And I did want to make like a matching scarf that I left over, like a tiny bit left, so I could make the column cowl. I have a knot made yet, but I want to make it. So it's kind of like a nice little camel color. I like the sweater. So I really like this color for me. And yeah, I've been getting a lot of wear out of it as a more like neutral colored hat because I have a lot of colorful hats. So I'm glad to have like a little neutral colored hat as well. So that's that one. The next one that I made was the Montpellier top by November Knits. I made that as a gift for my sister-in-law. I don't have it, but I'll add a photo. And that's the third time I've made this top. And yeah, I don't want to make it anymore. So no one asked me to knit them one as a gift. And then, oh yeah, I forgot BRB. So then next I finished my structure scarf, which I'm obsessed with. I've been wearing this a lot. I do want to make a matching hat for it because I don't have one. So yeah, I'm thinking of kind of taking the leftovers from all of the yarn that I had in here and making it into some kind of funky beanie. It took me about 2 months to knit. I had knit it in red originally instead of this pale blue, and then I ended up unraveling this whole section and removing the red and adding the pale blue instead to go along with the navy blue. So this is perfect in my opinion. I love this scarf. I did use Knit Picks palette, and it's a nice yarn, but maybe not the best for a scarf. It kind of wears, it looks a little bit like, I don't know. It doesn't look like the best yarn in the world to be, but it's okay. And they have a lot of good colors. So I don't know that I would use this yarn again for anything else, but it's good enough and it's not too expensive. So it was nice. So yeah, it keeps me warm. That's my structure scarf. Right, 3 left, 1 big, 2 small. This is my Very V-neck raglan. Or no, this is my sweater number 14 V-neck. I guess I was into different necklines this year, so I knit the mock neck and then 2 V-neck. Actually, the sweater that I gave to my friend was a V-neck, so I knit 3 V-necks this year. I guess I had a V-neck thing this year. So my sweater number 14 V-neck, knit in Knitting for Olive, mohair and merino, 2 strands of mohair, 1 strand of merino, and Dusty Artichoke. Everybody knows that one, I think. I love this. I just knit the second size, exactly the pattern, didn't make any alterations, didn't lengthen anything at all, and it's great. I love it. I've been getting a lot of wear out of it. I do want to knit this again, black, with the just plain crew neck, but I'm glad that I have this one, and I had this yarn for so long, so I think I only have like 1 last sweater that uses Knitting for Olive, so I'm really excited to finish that. I have a few whips that I've been working on this year that didn't get finished this year, so hopefully next year I'll have a lot. But this one, I just have 1 more set of Knitting for Olive to use up, and then I'm done with Knitting for Olive. I have so many Knitting for Olive sweaters, so I'm ready to branch out and try some other yarn. It started in August and finished in November. It was really quick. I could have probably knit it quicker, but I think I lost some knitting mojo for a while. So I'm glad that this is finally done. I was also over it because there's so much mohair in this. 2 strands of mohair I think is a little bit much, so I just wanted to finish it and start something new. So I finished it quickly in November, and yeah, I'm happy with it. Definitely want to knit this pattern again. Perfect silhouette, because I really like sleeves that don't have any decreases in them. That's what this has, so. Yep. Alright, last two tiny projects. The first one is this Ribka pouch. After I made the one for my friend, I was so excited to make more, and so finally I made this one for myself. I used leftover yarn from my chestnut sweater, which is also the same blue that's in this hat, is the navy blue that is in this pouch. And then I used this Rowan mohair. I have like 2 skeins of this Rowan mohair. So I doubled up the mohair and then like had 6 strands of mohair for the bottom, and made this little pouch. I really wanted like a blue fish. So yeah, it ended up being pretty cool looking, I think. It's got some variation in the scales, the blue mouth and head, and then just the blue tail, because I did run out of the navy blue when I got to the tail. So I really like this. I think it looks really cool. And then I added these little shell buttons that I had, just randomly buttons collected that I think I stole from my mom's button stash, and added 2 eyes to it, so it's reversible entirely, and then just the I-cord edge. So I can essentially fit like my keys in here. I can fit like a lip gloss or something. So it is nice, and it's just a cute little thing to have on your bag. So I definitely want to make more of these. This is super easy. Honestly, it's a pretty clever pattern too. I found it on Pinterest initially, and then yeah, I just really like the way that it looks. And I like fish, I think. I have like fish earrings, fish necklaces, just like fish in general. I don't know what it is about them. I just like them. So I have this fish, and so I made 2 of these this year. I'm probably gonna make more. I want to make a rainbow fish for myself too, but I love this blue fish. Such a good scrap buster. So would totally recommend this pattern. It's really well designed. That this is such a good design with the crochet edge, and it just looks legit. There, you could tell there was so much thought that went into the design, because if you look at the scales too, this is knit in twisted rib, and yeah, it's just really clever. I would recommend this pattern forever for everybody, because it's got everything. It's got like cute, functional, and you can use up your scraps. So what's better than that? Have like a little unique bag charm. So yeah, love this. Last finished object of the year, I don't have with me because I gave it to my brother. He wanted me to make him a slime from, I forget which game. I'll add it. He's been asking me to make him a slime for so long, so I had the leftover mustard drops air that I used on that sweater. And so I made it into a slime. I kind of just drafted it up. I do want to make more of these in different sizes because I think they're funny and cute. But I made the slime. He's super cute. And I added little eyes, the ones that you can find at Joann's or whatever craft store, to them. And then I ended up just drawing on the mouth. I don't know what else to do for the mouth. I took like a Sharpie and drew it on there, which is kind of like, I don't know if there's a better way to do the mouth. I'm just not sure about it yet. Anywho, I made that slime in like a day, and it was funny. So I want to make more slimes. I think I know how to do the construction, so, and it's just a cute little guy to have. So I want to make like more slimes and put them everywhere. So that's the last finished object of the year. I had a lot of accessories this year, a lot of smaller projects. Technically I had 4 sweaters that I finished and a baby sweater, which is I think less than I knit last year, but I think I had some issues. I just was really busy for a lot of the year at work. I also had developed this injury on my wrist and I was reading Twilight. So those are the three things that I can blame for why I didn't get to knit as much in 2024 as I did in 2023. But then again, that's life. It's kind of what you can do and appreciate what you have. You don't have to have a million things. And then I also think you can take more time and be more thoughtful about what you're actually making in terms to make it actually functional for your wardrobe, if that's something that matters to you, which is something that matters to me. Really think about the colors that you're adding, the silhouettes that you're doing, and so on and so forth. I knit a lot of gifts this year as well. I don't really like knitting gifts, so hopefully I'll have fewer gifts knit next year. I guess I like giving the gift, but I don't like making the gift, because when I'm knitting, I'm like, it's less exciting for me than it is when I'm making something for myself. I do have a few more projects that I started in 2024 that I haven't finished yet, so I'll probably talk about those on my next podcast episode. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to knit more on those projects that I just haven't worked on. Or I mean, I've been working on them and I just didn't prioritize them. And so yeah, at least I'm glad that I have everything that I have today from this year. A good knitting year. I did track all of the skeins that I used. So in a future video, I definitely want to talk about my yarn statistics, because I did make a whole spreadsheet of the stats. I did all the data when I analyzed it. So that would be fun to talk about, because I think it's just funny to see what I did all year outside of the actual tangible objects that I have. That's my 2024 knitting wrapped. So thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you want which one of my projects is your favorite one that I made, if any, if you like any of them, or also you can let me know what you were working on and what your favorite project was this year, and what are your goals for next year. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.